The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
Many years ago, I was working on behalf of Telz Yeshiva, doing their alumni outreach and going to various cities to reach the very rich in quality and quantity and monetarily base that the yeshiva has. And one of the cities that I was asked to go to was Toronto, Canada. So I was flying from Miami to Toronto, and as you can imagine, when a delay happens, it brings out the worst in people. People just get very annoyed. They are not pleasant to deal with. They think because they're paying a certain amount of money, therefore a certain standard must be given to them, and courtesy and service, etc., which we do here. We're not arguing, but there has to be a limit. They're also people, and some things are beyond the person behind the desk's control. It's not their fault. So the people get off on the microphone, and then they say that unfortunately, due to some weather, they have some type of delay. Inclement weather is preventing our aircraft from leaving at the proper time. And then it went from bad to worse. They said, we unfortunately have to report that the flight that was supposed to come in and supposed to be our flight to go from Miami to Toronto got diverted or it got canceled. Whatever the point was, they had to change it seems like the certain type of plane that was being outfitted for this flight was a much larger modern plane, and instead they had to go with a smaller plane. And as a result of that, we have to ask everyone to please come forward, and we will be rebooking your seats on the flight. So it just went from bad to worse. Now people, not only are they annoyed, they're going on a more cramped type of flight, and they have to redo their seats again. So you can imagine people who were planning on sitting next to one another, they were really annoyed. So you can imagine it was a mass influx towards the front of the desk. I couldn't care less. It really didn't bother me. I sat on the side learning my sefer. I was just doing my thing. And but I did realize I had to eventually get a ticket for a place where I had to sit. So I had to wait. I waited until like 20, 25 minutes until after everything calmed down. People were yelling and screaming. I didn't want to be part of that. Finally, when I saw there was like a lull in everyone getting their seats, whether they were happy or not, I look up from my sefer and I see that there's like maybe one or two people waiting on the line. I figure, okay, now's my chance. So I go up with my sefer in my hand, waiting. The person gets to the desk, then the next person gets to the desk, and finally they say, yes, sir, what would you like? I walked up there, and you know when you walk up to somebody, and they have that look like, oh my gosh, another one. So they look totally like that. They look so drawn out. And of course, I was wearing my hat and my jacket and everything, looking like Haredi and everything. I come to the front of the desk, and when I come to the front of the desk, this person says to me, oh, did you get a seat? I said, no, I did not get a seat. Oh, you didn't get a seat? You know what? Let me see. I said, I want to thank you for taking the time to make sure that we all have seats. It would really be such a wonderful thing if you're able to get me a seat, and I really am appreciative. Thank you so much. I said, if you could please get me any seat, or whatever, if it would preferably be near an aisle, I'd appreciate that. But I understand if you can't. Whatever happens. I understand you had a very tumultuous experience. Whatever could happen. So please, whatever you could do, I really appreciate it. Thank you. The guy looks at me and goes, I like your attitude. You're going to first class. And by the way, I like your hat too. So the point is that when you say a please and a thank you, it makes a world of a difference. You think it's just a please and a thank you. No, you're giving a courtesy to the person.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org